Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're tackling something we all deal with, dental plaque. You know, that sticky stuff that contains hundreds of different kinds of bacteria? We all have it, but do we really get what it is and, more importantly, the damage it can cause?
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That fuzzy coating that seems to show up just a couple of hours after you've brushed your teeth? Well, today we're going to break down what that stuff is, why it's there, and what it actually means for your health. And here's our game plan. First, we're going to define what plaque really is. Then, we'll get into the signs and symptoms to look out for. After that, we'll uncover the dangers of letting it build up, and we'll finish with your personal battle plan, how to prevent it, and what the pros can do to help.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What exactly is the stuff we call plaque? Because I'll tell you right now, it's a whole lot more than just some leftover bits from lunch. So here it is. Plaque is what we call a biofilm. You can think of it like a crowded, bustling city of bacteria that just decides to set up camp right there in your mouth. And it happens when all that bacteria gets together with the sugars and starches from our food, creating this sticky film that is always trying to form.
Now, what's really key to understand here is how all these things feed off each other. Look, plaque is going to form no matter what. It's natural. But these habits, they're like throwing gasoline on a fire. The sugar literally feeds the bacteria. Smoking weakens your mouth's defenses. And skipping the dentist, that just gives plaque all the time in the world to grow and harden into a much bigger problem.
All right, so how do you know if you have a plaque problem that's getting a little out of hand? Well, luckily, your body gives you some pretty clear signals.
These are the red flags you just can't ignore. That fuzzy feeling is the most obvious one, sure. But persistent bad breath? That's not just morning breath, you know? It's often caused by the gases that the plaque bacteria are releasing. And if your gums bleed when you brush, that is a direct sign of inflammation caused by plaque that's built up right at your gum line.
Okay, so we know what it is, we know how to spot it, but why do dentists make such a huge deal about it? Well, this is where that sticky film goes from being a minor annoyance to a major, major problem for your health.
First up, the big one we all know about, cavities. Plaque is public enemy number one when it comes to tooth decay.
It is, and I'm not exaggerating, a chemical assault on your teeth. The bacteria and plaque chow down on sugars, and their waste product is pure acid. That acid literally eats away at the hard, protective outer layer of your teeth, the enamel. And over time, that creates a weak spot, and boom, you've got a cavity.
The second major threat isn't just to your teeth, but to the very foundation that holds them in place, your gums.
This slide shows the progression perfectly. When plaque hangs out along the gum line, it triggers inflammation. That's gingivitis, see the red, swollen gums? Now, if you ignore that, it can get much worse and turn into periodontitis, which is a serious infection that can actually destroy the bone that supports your teeth.
And listen up, because this is a super critical point. That soft, sticky plaque, you can remove it at home with your brush and floss. But if you don't get it off, it absorbs minerals from your saliva and hardens into tartar. And once it turns into tartar, your toothbrush is useless. It's like trying to scrub a rock. Only a dental professional can get that stuff off. All right, now for the good news. After all that doom and gloom, the truth is that plaque is completely preventable. You have all the power you need to stop it in its tracks. And it really just comes down to a few simple daily habits. So, this is it. This is your daily playbook for keeping your mouth healthy. It's not complicated, but you have to be consistent. Brushing and flossing physically kick the plaque off your teeth, while eating less sugar basically starves the bacteria. And those regular dental visits, that's your safety net, making sure any plaque that did manage to harden into tartar gets removed before it can cause real trouble.
But what if plaque has already gained some ground? What if it's already hardened into that stubborn tartar we just talked about? Well, that's when it's time to call in for some professional backup.
Your dentist has a whole arsenal of tools you just don't have at home. A standard cleaning gets rid of plaque and tartar on the surface, but if things have gotten more serious and plaque is hiding below your gum line, they might do what's called a deep cleaning or scaling and root planing to really get in there and stop gum disease before it gets worse.
This is probably one of the most common questions out there. Is it really worth spending the money on an electric toothbrush? Does it actually make a difference?
And the answer is a resounding yes. The science is pretty clear on this one. The oscillating and vibrating motions of an electric brush are just better at removing plaque, especially in those hard-to-reach spots right along the gum line. Plus, most of them have built-in timers, which helps make sure you're actually brushing for the full 2 minutes.
Okay, get ready for a fact that might actually shock you a little, and it perfectly explains why that daily routine we talked about is so important.
That's right. It starts coming back within just a few hours after you brush. That super clean, smooth feeling you get right after brushing, it's temporary. The bacteria get right back to building their little city, which is exactly why brushing twice a day and flossing once a day is the absolute minimum for keeping them in check.
So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. You are in the driver's seat. Yes, plaque is a constant battle, but it's a battle you can absolutely win. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, and you can manage it.
At the end of the day, the fight against plaque and all the problems it causes isn't won in one big dentist appointment. It's won with the small, consistent things you do every single day. So don't wait for a problem to pop up. The powerful habits you start today will protect your smile for a lifetime.